man. You know what they say, dude. Once a magnet, always a magnet. Don't forget it. Minor symbols, hit me up.
So DIY-Chella, to me, was this really cool festival to put on, just as like a going away, sort of like, this is it, cut it off. We did a Senior Fest last year was the first festival that we ever had in this backyard. And it was cool, it was popping off. There was music from like 12 in the afternoon to 8 o'clock at night. Cops came like 10 times, probably a little less, but we had a sound ordinance. Always keep up on those. And it was cool. But it was a lot. So then this past November / actually October, on Halloween, we threw Chella, which was the first music festival that was originated out of the members of this house. We kind of like got together and was like, we gotta throw a sick like daytime thing. Let's put on a really cool show. And we did it. It was only 3 bands, not as long. It was pretty controlled. Everyone came through and it was a huge success. So based on the success of that, we realized that we definitely want to throw another one in the springtime. And we did. DIY-Chella, I think, was originally Kevin's idea as like the name and the event, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. We were going to do a Senior Fest round 2, but I think this was kind of pretty much that, like a nice goodbye type of, thanks for all the support throughout the years. It really was just a special day, I think, overall.
What did DIY-Chella mean to me? I guess it was very sentimental to a point, because it was my second to last show ever with Ethan as Ghostwalk. Unfortunately, the rest of the band couldn't be here, but me and Ethan still played, just the two of us, in the winding downs of the band. And secondly, because it was Secret Beach's last house show, while Greg and Babs were still Oneana students. So that definitely set some feels in there, set some real feels in. Also, another very big addition on top of all that is my brother actually came from Ithaca. He goes to college in Cornell, and he visited for the show, and it was his first time seeing Secret Beaches, so that really meant a lot to me. So it was definitely more than just a show.
DIY-Chella, in my head, was essentially Chella round 2. Chella, as you know, were there, was basically, we called it Chella, like Coachella ripoff, but it was just like party in our backyard with like all our friends' bands on Halloween weekend, and it was just a great time. A lot of people came, like a good fundraising activity for Secret Beaches to get into the studio. And then DIY-Chella to me was essentially like round 2 of that, but we kind of just called it DIY-Chella because there was no Halloween and it was Easter weekend, so we couldn't think of a good theme. And to like, I don't know, I feel like DIY is like often something like a term that's like thrown around really loosely and easily in like the kind of smaller music local scene, and it's very like a almost like, I don't know the right word for it, like glamorized term, like DIY, like, oh, I got a PA in my basement, like I'm saving the music industry, I'm DIY. So we just kind of like, yeah, I'll just call it DIY-Chella. We have a PA in the backyard, like let's invite our friends over and have a cool party.
I feel like DIY-Chella was like the embodiment of like the independent artist ethos, and it's like Babs had the whole like conundrum of like the shirts being pressed and stuff, like the merch, the like ton of dope ass bands, like, so yeah, I don't know. For me, I haven't done a show in like a year and a half solo, because I was like just taking time off to write, so super cool to come back to that. Dude, it just felt good. It was a sunny day too, so performing outside is always the tits.
Well, I definitely say that the person that at the beginning of the school year, even at the beginning of the semester, beginning of last month, I really didn't have much of any musical connection with or musical relation with was Cully, because I've never played with him before. But we had one like little meeting, just Secret Beaches and Cully, talking about what we should do, like how we could pull off the music. He showed us the songs, and just from talking to him a bit, just from talking to him, I could tell that there definitely would be a connection. So I was really excited to start working, and I think that a good like relation there grew just from this event in particular. It really kind of planted and sprouted something that I could see growing, because Cully's a great musician. And, he's a lot more than just a lyricist and a front man. His behind the scenes work is pristine.
Next up was Cully, and I really got to know Cully this year like a lot better, and I'm a big fan of Cully. Like, we're both in the Oniana Jam Band, and that's been super sick. He's so talented, and like, geez, just seeing him as the sole frontman, I had no idea he was gonna bring so much energy on top of like just like the illest flows. Like, Cully was so good. That was so much fun to learn a hip hop set, because like I said before, I always wanted to be in kind of a hip hop band, and that was a blast.
Shout out to Secret Beaches for being the Chinchillas, basically, just like my live project. I mean, I'm tight with pretty much all those dudes. Naughty was like one of the first bands I saw when I first came on campus, so it was very cool. And I've worked with Lucas on some stuff I'm working with now. Obviously, those guys, Slade is the homie, Jacoby, stage name, government name, whatever we're going by. I mean, Babs, we're from like both from Albany, so I see him out at like random ass hours of the night. I ran into him at like a McDonald's like 3 in the morning one time in Albany, so shout out to him.
I had a dream one day, and I knew I wanted to start a band as a singer after being naughty for a few years, just because I wanted to try it, but I never sang before. And then I just had a pretty crazy summer, had a crazy dream, and knew that it had to be called Secret Beaches, like way before, like months before I even hit up anybody in the band. Then I was just doing some like, typical scout the local talent pool, see who's like chilling, see who's the homie, see who you can vibe with. And I found Greg, Brian, and Tom. Like, you ever seen the X-Men?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, like when they started. No, not Greg, Brian, and Tom. Greg, Brian, and Slade. And then I met Tom. And Tom did an Arctic Monkeys cover set with us last 2 Marches ago now. 2 Marches ago. And yeah, he's just like the man. So we put him in there because how could you not? He's remarkably talented and handsome. And yeah, he's a cool dude. So we just started playing songs, jamming out. We weren't sure how it was gonna be at first, because I had no clue what I was gonna swear. I had no clue what I was doing, and the vibe was right. So we kept going, played some shows, picked up some steam pretty quickly. Went on tour last summer, a pretty fun tour, and yeah, now we're just trying to get a little bit more serious, do some serious stuff, play some serious shows, move out of Oniana and branch out, see what's good, see what the world has to offer.
hands over me. In my chest that keeps me restless is way too heavy. The crimes that keep me honest, chemical imbalance bleeding. I've been running from the sunset breath, but I guess I'm a mess. I walk to the knee deep in this wreck. Chasing reasons you call it treason when you choose not to see. Doing how I'm doing nothing but me. On another now, shining with a couple of breeze. Say how you doing? How you doing? How you doing it? Breaking down bags to the front of wood. Middle track, money coming out the hood, trying to learn from the green like a pedal on a shoe. Look around like I'm glad that nobody in here owe me some. Staring back the fire in the sky, call that you call me son. Ladies got the knees, bitches, they like how you call me son. Do it, yeah. Be that Buddhist prison lotus in a 4-tone, yeah.
Boasting about the privacy, boating on an island I can breathe. See salt, watery eyes, far as the eye can see. Evolve, my brothers from another rubber. We all on this track, run train, row raft and throw paddle. No frats, no tassel, we captains of the vessel. Tiki torch, blunt sun, exhale my stress load. Strippers on the totem pole, I told them most to get low. Kidding, hugging, kissing.